Let's speak to Richard Houghton from the HS2 Action Alliance. Oh, we've heard from a fellow from that already, Richard.
Yeah, one of our local groups, I think.
One of the local groups. Tell me, what is the issue with HS2 for you?
Well, there's a whole raft of them, but in terms of what the government is suggesting is they're really trying to find an answer to the problem that's not there. And you said they haven't spent anything. They've already spent £300 million on this. And
Really?
They've spent £1 billion.
What, looking into it?
Yeah, they've spent £300 million on consultants and running HS2 Limited so far. We reckon that'll be about $1 billion before they even start to put a shovel in the ground, start building it. So they're burning cash pretty damn quickly.
$1 billion of our money before they even start working on it.
Before they even start working on it. And interestingly, you were saying you're getting quite a range of views coming through today. YouGov came out last night with a new poll. 53% across the country oppose. That's voters. That drops to 52, only 1%. 52% in the north, as they describe the north. I appreciate that's a... So at the moment, the opposition amongst voters is growing.
Hang on. 52% in the north are against it?
Yep.
So 48% in the north are for it?
No, there's 20% of do not knows.
Okay. Okay.
21% of do not knows.
I always find it a little odd when people...
26 support, 52 against.
It does always strike me as very odd when people ring these surveys or whatever and go, don't know. Why bother answering the question? But, okay, but that's still... All right, it's a small majority.
Yeah.
But you're clearly very against it. You're part of an action group, so you're really against it.
Our argument is that they put together a business case that is spurious at best. They've made it up. So you may remember that to make the numbers stack up, they had to assume that nobody worked on trains. So every new journey was 100% more productive.
Right.
They've reduced that, but instead of saying that 32% of the journeys will be by businessmen, they've doubled it to about 70%. And so they can get the numbers back. The trouble is that when you look at their own figures, it doesn't really add up. So what they're doing is they're stretching their calculations as far as they possibly can to show that there's going to be a huge number of passengers and that they're all going to be businessmen, or the majority of people are going to be businessmen,
right.
and that extra speed is going to be so much more valuable for them.
As much as some of us might not like the idea of just spending a lot of our money to make it easier for businessmen, but actually, the argument is that these business people are talking about make the economy go round and work.
Yeah, they do. But I think probably that somebody described it as a vanity project earlier. I think underneath this is just a sticking plaster for the fact that there's no proper strategic regional environmental growth strategies out there. So they're hoping this one line, and it's not a network. Remember, this is a single line with a couple of branches off. Is going to solve all of the economic woes. And it isn't. If you spend money, invest money in intra-regional connections, so you can get from Liverpool to Manchester quicker, Leeds to Manchester, etc., you're going to build a much stronger regional economy before you attach it to London, which, let's face it, is 9 times bigger than Birmingham. It's a massive economy.
Yeah, but once people get up here, and you're absolutely right, and I've heard the argument that clearly we need more connection, but once we get that high-speed railway coming up to Leeds, then you can improve Leeds to Manchester and Manchester to Liverpool and all that kind of thing.
But it'll be a bit late then, because London will start doing what big capitals do. They'll start sucking out. And we've already heard from, there's a survey this week of the chairman of the FTSE 100, the biggest companies in the UK, saying that they're on majority of them against it. But what's going to happen is you're going to lose your regional offices. So what was an overnight stay will become a day trip. I mean, just the practicalities is that once you connect London to very, very fast, ultra-high fast rail, then these are the end results, I'm afraid. It sucks money out of the regions towards London. And to the point, Colin's point about we're behind the Koreans, there's a couple of issues here. The fact is the geography of Britain is small, right? It doesn't take long. We already have some of the fastest connections between our major cities as any European country.
Right.
We were first with high-speed rail. The ultra-high-speed rail, which is what we're talking about, really isn't necessary for our geography.
I get that. But because you're part of a campaigning group, are you now stuck in a position where you can't change your mind?
No, I mean, we were started by 2 railway economists who'd been asked to work on HS2 and then got into the detail and realised it didn't stack up. So it's not that we're stuck on it, it's just that the further we get into it, the more ridiculous the calculations and the wild assumptions become. So we're not that. The truth is, most of the growth in train travel at the moment is suburban commuter routes. In fact, long-distance intercity journeys are dropping and have been steadily. So what you're putting in is an intercity train line to solve the problems of people commuting into our major cities. If you're standing on one of the lines that are already running at over 100% capacity at the moment,
right,
commuting, HS2 is not going to help you. It doesn't stop anywhere. That's the whole point. It's not going to ease up, and they'll tell you it's going to create train paths for other lines, but it can't do because it's a separate line.
Okay, so the point is we're going to see actually increased traffic, say, coming into Leeds where it goes from, and that's actually going to be it's going to cause more problems than it solves.
Well, it's not, yeah, and if you're already standing on a commuter train into Leeds or Manchester or London or Milton Keynes, you aren't going to get any help from this.
It's not going to help us. Great to speak to you, Richard Houghton, with the HS2 Alliance.